What's going on, guys? I'm Elie, and you're tuned into Baller Alert.
What's going on? I am Cliff Hill. You are tuned into BallerAlert. I am here with Mr. Elie. What's going on, man? How are you, bro?
I'm doing good, man. Feeling great. How are you?
I'm great, man. Listen, you've had an amazing last 3 to 4 years? I mean, jumping from insecure rap shit and now send help. I mean, it's been amazing just to watch your journey.
Thank you, thank you, thank you. It's been crazy, man. We also snuck in a little Colin Black and White in the middle of that. Worked with Ava DuVernay on that for like Netflix, which was really cool.
Okay, now that's big. I mean, come on, Ava DuVernay, right?
Oh, I know it's nuts. Because what I do is I usually get like usually have my script signed on projects that I'm like really excited to work on. I have the script signed, and I had everybody sign the script that worked on production, and she was the last person I got to sign it, and I wanted to bring it to her like, hey, can you sign this for me? She's like, yeah, I definitely wanted to sign it because I also booked you because I really wanted to meet you. I was like,
That's big.
that's
That's big.
fucking
What was it
dope.
like kind of working like around her, under her? What was that like?
It was cool, man. It was cool, and it was the most welcoming set. And it was during the pandemic, like a year after the pandemic. So it was like a very welcoming set. Like the energy was really good. Her energy was really good. She likes to joke around a lot, which kept the energy and like the people happy and
Mhm.
everybody good in that vibe. So it was really cool.
Yeah, I'm sure everybody's kind of ready to get back to work after kind of being shut down for so long, for sure.
Yeah, yeah. And it
So,
was shooting that show during the pandemic, so it was like I'm pretty sure they had a lot of difficulties like getting things done and blocking and people getting COVID, things that and
people losing
third.
family members.
Exactly, exactly, and dealing with that at the same time. So it was really cool to like dive into a project like first thing in the new year and get
hmm
into that.
No, for sure. And like speaking of joking around, like let's talk about the cast of Insecure. I feel like it's a cast of just comedians. Like I feel like a lot of foolery just had to happen on set. I know it. What was it like? Kind of, you played Issa Rae's queer brother, which I absolutely love. Just to see that character on television was a lot for me. What was it like, kind of on set, working with Issa, just filming Insecure?
It was fun. We had a lot of good times behind the camera, and while we're down on during downtime, like dancing, music was playing, we were asking each other questions, like really getting to know one another, and creating that like family vibe. You know what I'm saying? That family atmosphere, which also showed on screen.
Right.
Uh, so it was really cool. I really enjoyed working on that job.
I'm sure. Now let's talk about rap shit, which I feel like you guys have to have some type of family camaraderie just to work on so many different projects together. It's like you was on Insecure, and then you was working with Issa, then you was on rap shit, and then Issa's gonna be on the last episode of Send Help. I'm like, you guys must have a dope relationship, right?
Yeah, it honestly it is like my big sister.
Okay.
She literally became like my big sister in the industry. So if I have a question, whether it be for work or just life stuff, I can
Mhm.
ask her and she'll sit down and have a conversation with me about it. She's walked me off the ledge on a few things and like trying to like make sure I'm making the right decision and I'm also not being hasty with my decision making.
Got you. Which is
Yeah.
which is important to have somebody like that in your corner, just around you in general,
Exactly. It's really important to have like people like that who really hold you down and will also hold you accountable too.
for
You know,
sure. Now on rap shit, you played the duet. Y'all really did y'all research with rap shit because I'm from Miami, so it was cool to be like, I know where street that is, I know what club that is. But to talk about a duet, right? Like down here, that's like usually a patient descent, maybe a Zoe, who just kind of doing what they gotta do to what are they scamming and whatever they gotta do to get some money,
just
right?
do what you do to like, make it by and help the family and be and keep
Yeah.
a roof over your head and stuff like that. Play with the sweat every once in a while. You feel me?
Yeah, I think that was super dope. What was the difference kind of filming Insecure and then being on set for rap shit?
You
Hey, the
definitely feel
the the tones of the two shows are kind of different, I would think.
yeah, the tones of the shows are definitely different. You're diving into the culture, the Haitian culture, which I'm first generation Haitian American, which was really cool to actually play that. And also play a character that I haven't been able to play yet, which was fun. Um, the tone was the energy was different in the sense that this is the pilot season, the first season of the show. So when I got on Insecure, it was the second season. Like a lot of people get confused, think I was there since season one,
Mhm.
but the it's a lot more at stake in season 1 than in season 2. You know what I'm saying? Because you want to get greenlit to the second season, but working, so you felt that energy, but at the same time though, the fact that we had Sharita, we had Chris, uh we had Denise, we had a lot of people that we worked with. Kid Fury, we had a lot of people that I worked with before. Made it such a seamless integration into that world. And then also being first generation Haitian and having family in Florida and having friends from Florida who actually can speak on what their version of the jouet is, because there's stuff that happens on the East Coast, things like that, as everything's different. Which was really cool to be able to like dive into that and also dive into that character with those people. And also the guy, Daniel, who plays my cousin, was really fun to work with as well.
Now, I kind of want to touch on that since you talked about it just a little bit, because I think with your character on Rap Shit and your character on Send Help, you guys kind of showed like what it's kind of like to have family back in Haiti and kind of like doing whatever you got to do to make sure you send them money, you call them to check on them. Is that something, an experience that you have yourself with your family back in Haiti? And why was it important for you guys to kind of show that?
Yes, I have experienced that like that, but it's not really for Haiti. It's more so for my mom and my family back home.
Okay.
And back home is Brockton, Massachusetts. So like I'm always going back home and taking care of things. My mom lives in a house, a duplex by herself. She's retired. So I'm constantly having to like take care of things for her. Constantly have to like be there. So I'm like living in LA, but also trying to manage a home and manage my mom and take care of everything that she needs done and make it automated for her because she's not good with technology, and just kind of like help them out, you know? So it's very important for me to have that type of representation on the screen, which was why we like really wanted to show it in Send Help. And I'm glad they showed that in Rapture as well, because that's a lot of our realities. Especially when because you leave a country and they think you made it. They're like, that person that did it, they're doing well, they're doing everything that needs to be done. But at the same time, though, people are not aware that sometimes you may change your environment. It might be different, but you still might be in the same situation. So you still have to, but you still feel obligated, or you feel like you want to help those in need, even when you're still trying to build it up, you know?
Right, for sure. And I think that was so important with a couple of characters that you played to kind of show that real life, because it's real. It's what we go through every day. So like with the mall, I'm queer. So just to see that character was important for me to see, because there were times, there's a show on Netflix called Hollywood, where it kind of shows like they didn't really have queer roles on camera back in the day, or they wouldn't hire you for jobs if you was queer. So just to see that role to be done so well, why do you think it's important just for that character to be seen on television?
It's very important for that character to be seen on television. Actually, I enjoyed playing them all. It was really, really fun. And I also wasn't aware of how heavy or how it was going to affect people playing Ahmal, which was great for me because like playing Ahmal was the most freeing character to play. One, I walked on set every day like I'm a bad bitch, I'm the baddest motherfucker. I'm playing Cardi B in my trailer just to get into the character, get in the role. Megan Thee Stallion, like getting that vibe going, and then for it to be done like season 2, like for me to be finished after season 2, and for people to start telling me how seen they felt, how they felt represented on the screen, how they felt like Ahmal is my brother, Ahmal is me. Friends who I wasn't aware were members of the LGBTQ community to come out to me in that moment, was like, thank you for playing that role and representing us. I'm like, thanks. I didn't know. First off, when were you? Because out, so I don't know. But yeah, just having that representation is very important, and and was also something that we wanted to show and Send Help as well. This is why it was called. We have the Patrick character, who was on the spectrum, and also my writing partner Mike is a member of the community, and he's also another person that I will always like speak to and talk to, especially making sure I get it right. Because my biggest challenge, my biggest thing was to make sure that I wasn't coming off caricature-y, and
Right.
I wasn't coming off offensive, but also feeling making it as true as possible, you know?
Sure. Listen, the banter between you and Kelly was hilarious because again, like I saw myself, I saw some of my friends. It was just cool, definitely cool to see that. So speaking of Mike, like I said, you guys keeping it in the family. I know he was a writer on Insecure. Now both you guys are writers on Send Help. I think that's pretty dope. How did Send Help kind of come about? Like whose idea? How did you guys kind of tag team on that? How did that even come about?
Well, it was years in the making. So after season 2 of Insecure, I was hit up by someone that if I wanted to create a show. Set Help was been something that was on my mind and it had a different title. And as I started developing it, I brought on Mike.
Okay.
And then Mike came on, and Mike was able to like shape it because he's more of a seasoned writer than I am. So he was able to shape it and mold it in ways that I wasn't able to mold it, and also push me in ways that I was kind of shying away from. That he felt I should go there, uh, which makes the show kind of resonate with a lot of people for that reason. Um, so Mike literally is like my big brother in this whole situation, and my friend and my partner who literally pushes me to tell honest, true stories,
Mhm.
and also not be afraid to like put myself into certain situations, even if it's uncomfortable, but it's actually better for the greater good for everybody else, you know. So that was like really hard, but also which also rewarding at the same time because now I'm able to talk about it, and it's something that. And the thing I'm referring to is the Thanksgiving scene, episode 6.
Okay.
uh, things that happened in that episode was kind of mirrored in my life a lot. You know?
That was gonna be my next question. I know like your character kind of play like this upcoming actor in Hollywood, kind of navigating through loss and change, etc. I was gonna ask you, do you see your character in yourself at all?
Yeah, man. I do see my character in myself, but also that's like a old school version of me. You know what I'm saying? It's like
Okay.
a beta version, Jean, who didn't know nothing, who was not smart about a lot of things,
Mhm.
but always put family first, of course, and that's still me to this day. Um, but yeah, it was like it's a little bit of me, but also a lot of the writers in the room put themselves into that character, so therefore we could have a three-dimensional character that everybody could feel seen and connect with.
Got you. Now, which one do you feel most passionate about? Being in front of the camera or writing?
I love being in front of camera.
Okay.
That's I'll never not do that.
Okay.
Uh, but I do like writing because it allows you to really explore certain ideas and also get some things off your
Mhm.
chest that you want to talk about, and be able to explore with different characters, different people, which is amazing for me. I just love creating, bro. Like
Okay.
it's just
Same.
in me to create. Um, Man, because I literally started creating content because no one was giving me the yes. So I started creating my own yeses. You feel me? And
Absolutely.
it doesn't you can't wait for someone to say, "Oh, this is a character you could play." I'm like, forget it. I'm gonna just create the character I want to play. I'm a if no one's hiring me for this role, I'm gonna make this character. Like that's how Send Help came about.
Mhm.
Um, there was many roles that I wanted to do that were similar to Send Help that didn't get made. That either the show didn't work or they didn't end up picking me for the job. So all right, cool, fine, I'll create it. You know,
Gotcha.
uh, because I'm not ain't waiting for nobody. I'm gonna make that.
Listen, that's the way to do it. You guys have been getting me in trouble with Sin Hope. I've been having it on my screen at work in a little box, trying to get work done and watch. I'm like already hooked and addicted.
Awesome.
So
That's dope.
congrats on the show. Now I have to ask you this question. Anything else you have coming down the pipeline as you guys prepare for season 2 of Rap Shit and season 2 of Sin Help?
Well, I ain't gonna say not a damn nutter on any of that,
You know I
but
had to ask that question,
I
right?
know you're gonna try me. I know you're gonna try me. But I do have an indie feature that's coming out next year. It's gonna
Okay.
do the indie circuit, the film festival circuit. It's called
Dope.
Another Happy Day, which is really cool. It's about
You writing or
uh,
starring in it?
I'm starring in it. I'm one of the stars in it. So, and it's about a mother dealing with postpartum, postpartum depression, and the husband who I play, along with her, and how we're balancing that. But it's mainly on how she's dealing with it, and then you're seeing how I'm dealing with the fallout of everything as well.
I want to ask you this question, just hearing you talk about, your work and seeing the roles you played. Before you take a role, do you feel like one, there has to be the story has to have some depth and change, make type of change in the world, or does the story have to be beneficial to the world and have some type of connection to you before you take it, or like how
Yeah,
you feel about taking roles?
it has to have some type of connection to me. Um, and for me, it's like I like playing characters that kind of represent people in the world that people can actually see and really connect to. So from American Crime, you know what I'm saying? I'm playing a Haitian kid coming from Haiti to save his mother from who's being abused by, because she's an au pair to a white family and they're abusing her. So I've come from Haiti to save my mother, but also dealing with the trauma of my mother leaving me at a very young age and missing her and her not being in my life and me having to step up and come and be in her life. You know what I'm saying? Insecure, playing a character like Ahmal who doesn't really get seen like that on TV. Um, and having and being able to dive into something that's like I really get to sink my teeth in. You know what I'm
Mhm.
saying? My favorite episode of Insecure that we did was the Thanksgiving episode because you were able to get some of my backstory that
Yeah.
I've literally written from season 2 that I haven't been able to talk about until that moment. Um, with rap shit, just like really just diving into that family aspect and being there for your family, but also understanding that you got to be a hustler and
Mhm.
you gotta make it happen. You can't wait for the world to give you something. You got to take it, especially by any means sometimes. And then send help is just dealing with the fallout of loss and
Yeah.
dealing with life after death. Because even though you didn't die, you still feel like a part of you died and you have to continue living on. And how do you do that? And how does a family process that? And then freaking even with calling black and white, playing a guy that comes to the barbershop. I built a whole life of why I'm coming to the barbershop, how I get there with my girl, and just time our life together. You know what I'm saying? And also just taking in as if you would what you feel when you get into that scene, you feel like you're actually in a barbershop because that's how barbershops be feeling
Mhm.
sometimes.
For
It feels like
sure.
home. It feels like home, and you want it to feel like home. Um, yeah, and then Another Happy Day, which is a great project that I can't wait for people to see. And it's like really talking about some real life stuff that people really don't talk about. You know, I'm engaged now. I'm gonna have kids. So
Mhm.
it was like a great way for me to understand what women go through when they have a child
Right.
and what happens
Which
afterwards.
I think is not talked about enough at all.
It's not talked about at all, really. And this is gonna be a really good project for people to see when it comes out.
Listen, I'm excited for your future, maybe. I know you have so much coming down the pipeline, but I kind of want to talk about your past first. I think it's so important for us to know people's journey and how they got there for that next young black actor who may be looking at you like, wow, look what he is now. I wonder how he got there. So my question for you is, did you have any acting lessons when you were younger? Were you a part of the drama club? What was that journey like for you from when you first started acting to now?
Well, I had none of that, bro. Like
Okay.
literally, my idea my idea was very simple when I was growing up. I'm gonna be an entrepreneur. All right. It was either I was gonna be a cartoonist
Okay.
uh, or a scientist. And then as I got older, I was like, I'm just gonna be an entrepreneur because I was doing the entrepreneurship stuff throughout my life. From elementary school, selling little toy battery to the motors for my toy cars at recess, to junior high, selling ringtones and CDs, DVDs, things of that nature. High school, making
All the
screen TV,
time.
all that stuff.
Mhm.
Um, and it was when I got to college, when I got to high school, and they were like, "Oh, cool, you're gonna be a scientist. These are all the classes you gotta take." I was like, "Nah, I'm good. These are too much schooling for me to do." And
Right.
then when after I graduated college with my business degree at JWU, I was like, I got bit by this acting bug to do this. So I'm like 21, 21. I heard a radio ad. and I decided to go to it just to see.
Mhm.
Um, and I was like, this is not going to be anything. This is stupid. Like, why am I going? And then when I got there, I became curious,
Okay.
right? So I started down the path. I started chasing that curiosity, which led
Mhm.
me to student film on URI, thinking that was going to be background, which ended up becoming a speaking role for me, my first speaking role,
Okay.
without without a script. So I had to improv my way through the whole scene.
And what age is this now?
I'm 21.
21 still. Okay.
21. So I got bit by the bug. I did that. And I was like, oh, this is cool. And they said, you know what? Have you done this before? I was like, nah. They said, you should continue down this path. So I started chasing it some more. And then after my brother was murdered, I decided to like really do something. And I made the move to LA. And when I got to LA, I was hit with setbacks, of course. As soon as I got off the plane, the dude told me I couldn't live with him. So I ended up having to live with somebody I met at baggage claim. You feel me?
Ay, ay, ay.
And then from there, I did what I've always done: get on Craigslist, find
Mhm.
another acting school, and I started training then.
Okay.
But I still wasn't in love with it yet until I moved into Bassett House, and one of my roommates there informed me about this school called Playhouse West. And when I got to Playhouse West, I was like, "Oh, this is cool, but we'll see." And then I saw a teacher student do a scene, and when I tell you, everything just clicked for me, and I knew that there's nothing else I wanted to do but this.
Mhm. Yeah.
I was like, yeah, this is life. Like, I don't want to do anything else
Mhm.
but be real in every facet of my performance and every facet of life, is just to like completely turn myself over to whatever character I'm playing, turn myself over to just life and just experiencing it in this way, because you're able to live many lives that way. Um, and that's when I really started like working on the craft, really started like
Okay.
getting it going. And then when jobs wasn't coming, like I was telling you earlier, I started creating my own. Yes, I created my own short film, which was about PTSD. It's
Okay.
about loss and people not being there for you. Then I did a student film called A Gentleman Always, which I ended up becoming a producer on. I was starring in it, became a producer on it, took it to Urban World Film Festival, and I sat in the audience and watched Insecure for the first time. And
Wow.
from that audience, I manifested myself being on Insecure, and then the next year I'm on Insecure. I'm playing Issa's brother.
A story, man. Like this is why it's important to know people's story. Like some people gotta know you. One, you don't give up. It's gonna come. Keep chasing it. Work hard. Two, I mean, like look at some of the struggles that you went through. Three, you started doing this at 21.
Yeah, yeah.
That's
Because sometimes
amazing, man.
sometimes people beat themselves up, and I've had the thought myself, like, "Yo, damn, did I get into this too late?
Hmm.
Did I start too late in the game?" But really, it doesn't really matter. You can start whenever you want to start. You just had to keep going, and you got to keep working. And the
Work
is
ethic will always beat talent.
work and grit will always beat that all day,
Yeah.
every day. Because there's some people that are in rooms that you're like, "What? How'd you get there?" But they were working their ass off to get to that point, you
Hmm.
know? There's no chill no chill over here on this side. So you can't be chill on you.
That's dope, man. I was gonna ask you, were there any actors or actresses that you kind of looked up to or studied? But do you still have some? Like once you got into it, who were the ones you kind of looked to? Like, okay, like you kind of watched them from afar and see how they were, see or heard their story that kind of stayed with you.
Oh man, I'm still a fan. I'm literally like a kid in this game the whole time still. I still feel
Hmm.
like that. Idris Elba is definitely like I feel like it's my prototype.
Okay,
Though everybody keeps saying Kevin Hart. But Idris Elba
that
is
was
one
a
of them
lot
people.
of jokes and saying help about.
Yeah. Idris Elba is someone I look up to. Tom Hardy is another person I look up to. Sean Penn is another person I look up to. Um, Actors that I watch now that literally got me in the gym. Freaking, what's it called? Jonathan Majors ass got me in the gym
Mhm.
working, boy. Because those guys, like, they're just crushing it. And I was watching Jonathan Majors for a very long time. And I've seen him in White Boy Rick and just been watching his journey, and the stuff that he did in Last Black Man in San Francisco was amazing. And
Mhm.
should have said something to him when I met him the other day, because I was at Urban World Film Festival,
Okay.
and I didn't know how tall Jonathan Major was.
Was.
I thought he was literally like about my height. I'm 5'9". So I'm sitting there getting interviewed. And I turn around and Jonathan Major's there, and I'm like, what the is tall.
Yeah.
But yeah, like I love his career. I love what he's done with his career. I love what John Boyega has done with his career. These are people that are doing roles that I want to do.
Mhm.
And they're kind of in the class that I want to be in, that I'm working towards being in, where people can call me to be like, hey, I know Jean could do this. I know Jean
Yeah.
could do that. And that way I could just fit into all those modes.
Got you. So being that that's kind of, you see kind of where you want to get, do you have any kind of milestones or goals that you want to hit, rather it be the far future or within the next year? You already started, you're in front of the camera now, you started writing. What are some other milestones and goals you kind of want to knock out?
Some milestones I want to knock out right now. I want to do a Marvel movie.
That
I
would
would
be
love
dope.
to do I would love to do a Marvel movie. I would love to do a military movie, kind of like or Fury or Black Hawk Down, that
Hmm.
type of vibe, or Saving Private Ryan. Those are like I want to get into that.
Yeah.
Boxing. I would love to do a boxing movie, play someone that we don't necessarily talk about, but someone who actually really influenced the world of boxing, influenced characters of boxing. They're like the one that comes to mind is Marvelous Marvin Hagler. He's
Okay.
definitely someone I want to play. When it comes to Marvel, I would love to play Brother Voodoo or Gentle. Like these are characters that I really
And
I'm
you kind of have
following,
in mind.
really looking at,
Yeah.
and then I would love to do something that has to do with the Haitian culture. Another project that has Haitian culture. Either it's has to do with the revolution, 1804,
Okay.
or something that's kind of like our own Haitian Scarface. You know,
Ooh, that would
um,
be dope.
that'd be hard. You know
That
what I'm
would
saying?
be dope.
That'd
That
be
would be
hard.
dope.
So, and like there's people and there's stories out there that I want to tackle that I'm just waiting for the
Good
waiting
time.
for the waiting to create it,
Hmm.
waiting for someone to say make it, or waiting to create it, or waiting for someone to present the opportunity.
Right.
There's
Yeah.
also books and things like that I want to do as well. There's a book called American Marriage.
Okay.
There, I just found out that they're about to turn into a miniseries. I really think it should be a movie, but it's about to turn into a miniseries, and I want to play one of the lead characters in that joint too. And that book is phenomenal.
So being that they're going to turn it into a series, how did you go about getting in that room?
Right now, I'm not in the room yet, so like I'm waiting. They're still writing it, and I am just
Hmm.
following it along, and then making sure I am meeting the right people who are connected to the project
Right.
and expressing my interest in
Hmm.
that project, uh, which would be amazing for me to do that. Or even Top Dog Underdog, man, turn that into a feature would be fire.
That's
I don't know.
dope.
I don't know if you're familiar with the play Top Dog Underdog.
I was gonna
It's
say, are you interested in like any plays or doing Broadway too? Is that something you can see yourself doing?
As of right now, no. I'm not.
No.
I'm not really interested in plays like that. I'm interested in turning plays into movies.
Gotcha.
That I am interested in. Like Top Dog Underdog is one of those things that I want to turn into a movie, because it's about brotherhood, it's about family, it's about identity. Um, yeah, man, and it's crazy how like two people could be pinned against each other, and I love how the way Suzanne wrote it, and it has everybody just stuck in this room, and you're watching these brothers just go through it.
Hmm.
It's beautiful.
Yeah, man, I'm super excited just to watch your career from the side, from far back. That's why it was a point for me to kind of sit down, chop it up with you, kind of see what's going on in your brain. Because I think your career, what you're doing right now, listen, over here at BallerAlert, we are huge, huge, huge fans. Okay.
Bass House Pictures is
Yeah,
my
tell me about it.
production company. It's a production studio and
Okay.
distribution platform for indie and up and coming filmmakers. Right now, we just had our first, well, not our first, but our second volume of Screen at Night, where we
Okay.
hosted it at the Gathering Spot, where we watched several short films with up and coming filmmakers as well as studio executives,
Okay.
and we're able to like have a Q&A with those creators. Just kind of create an environment and creating a space for creators to grow and also network. Because if you're not networking with the person sitting next to you, then what are you really
You're
doing?
doing right.
I just create a space where they could do that.
So you guys just have like different events coming up. Would you guys
Yeah,
have
we
an
have
actual
different events
location?
coming up. The next one is not going to happen until 2023.
Okay.
Will be another Screen That Night. Will probably be Screen That Night Volume 3. But right now, everything we have several short films that's on our platform that people can watch and kind of celebrate these creators before they become the Ava DuVernays, before they become the Barry Jenkins, and you can discover them early on and kind of
That's
watch
super
their
dope.
journey, watch their growth. So right now we just added Volley, which was the winner of our Screen That Night competition this past 2 weeks ago. And that is a beautiful story about friends and how we can sometimes take our friends for granted. And there's like an underlying story happening that these two friends end up connecting on
Okay.
over a game of tennis.
And people can go on the website. We can see them and we can watch them.
Yeah, yep. You go on the website, you can see that on BassHousePick.com.
Okay.
Yeah, as well as another project that we have up there called Dispelled, which I think is phenomenal as well. It's nice genre bending content story about a girl trying to dispel the demon in her mom. And
Okay.
the
Oh,
demon
that
in
sounds
her
deep.
mom, the demon in her mom is alcoholism. So like when you watch it, you'll kind of see that whole thing
Bro,
transpire.
I love how like your work has so much depth to it. Like there's really something that's gonna be touching in a story to be told. Like I love that about all of your work.
Yeah, I gravitate to that, because I know real life is real and people need to be able to see it and experience it and also understand and have different perspectives and views on life that way.
And so like for these events you guys will be throwing, like let's say I'm an upcoming actor, like no one probably know me yet, but they're interested in just attending. All that is possible as well.
Yeah, all that's possible. If you're an upcoming actor, you're a writer, you're a musician, you're a painter, anything like that, like you can come to these events, you can network, you can meet people, and just build with them because a production is all of that. When you're creating a show, you have to have music. You
Mhm.
got to have actors. You have to have a DP. You have to have an editor. You have to have sound guy. You have to have art department. All these people could come and find and make a place over at Bassett House.
Love that, bro. Love that. And then how long you started it this year?
I started it in 2019. The
Okay.
pandemic shut us down for a little bit, so we didn't have any in-person events. So we just had our return in-person event,
Okay.
um, November 7th.
Awesome, man. Listen, again, congratulations. Like it's just amazing just to watch and see what you're doing right now, man. Really making a difference in our community, bro. For real, for sure.
Thank you, appreciate it, man. I'm
All right,
honored.
man. Take care, bro.
I will.